And I just wanted to share something. Yesterday I was praying and I was thinking about as I was driving between the jobs. As most of you know, we do construction and everything else for the houses of Cyrus. So yesterday was a little bit eventful, and a whole bunch of my time went to things that went sideways. But as I had time to drive around, I was just praying. And I gotta say, one of the hardest part of this conflict between Israel and Gaza and between Israel and Lebanon and all these kind of things is for me watching. Hi, how are you, Victor? I can see till I start crying. Then, so, anyways, yeah, one of the hardest part for me is watching the children suffer. Uh, I remember I was very young when the war. I was 1979, 1980. I was not even 8 years old, 7 years old when the war started in Iran, and it was completely different. You just I was playing with the kids, and suddenly an airplane goes above me, and then the whole ground shakes and everything. I didn't know what's going on. It was just hi, Greg. I really didn't know what's happening. And then my father comes, throws us in the car, says, "You gotta go, the Iraqis are coming," and so on and so forth. So for me, I remember the following months going from place to place to place to place. And that time when the war in Iraq was absolutely nothing in comparison to what's happening in Gaza or Lebanon, because what they were doing, they were just coming in part of it. Later on in the war, we had Iraq actually bomb different cities, but this country, Iran, is so humongous. We had a lot of place to go to, and even though we could hear the sirens, and we could hear the bombings and everything, and we could see some, but it wasn't that you just are passing through the rebels and body parts and everything else, like the kids there. So for me, knowing knowing that what it was for me, as a 7-year old, 8-year old going through that war, um, last night and yesterday I was driving and I was just thinking of the kids. You know, as an adult, as a Christian, I believe if a child dies, they go to heaven for me, because they're not of the age that they could have known Jesus, and I believe that they have some sort of a connection, and that's my personal belief. But there comes a day that you become of a certain age and you have to choose. And so the Islamic fighters or all these soldiers and everyone, these guys are most of them adults. And so they have a different, um, maybe in the spirit realm, I'm talking the life, afterlife, there's a different kind of a judgment on the people that you were an adult and you did not accept Christ. So for me, the same way, the children that have not made any choice in any of these things, and as a kid, I remember my concern was like what I was completely focused on, just going playing football, the real one, not the one in America. So, and just playing with the kids and everything else. And now we have a generation of kids that for what, next 20 years at least, they will remember the rebels next 30 years, you pass by them. And if in next 20 years there's 3 generations, 4 generations, with all the kids that are being born, all these guys are seeing how much resentment and hatred is imparted in their heart, planted. So I was just, it was very hard for me. And my wife and I, we're looking forward to a day that we can go into Gaza. And our heart is actually because we know, we have heard how many kids have lost everybody. They have lost everyone in their family. They've lost their father, mother, brothers, sisters. Have lost their uncles and aunts and everybody else. And we are praying and thinking of actually seeing if we can adopt a child so we can bring them and so that they can grow up here with us. And I was looking at the statistics of how many families are completely wiped out and how many families only one member is left. And I was just praying and I was asking the Lord, what's happening with Israel? What's happening with this, that? And for me, I have mentioned this before again and again, that I have said that to the Muslim brothers, that look, you believe in Musa or Moses, as we said in English, as a prophet, and that he was obedient to God, yeah, and he brought the people out of Egypt, the Israelis out of Egypt on the command of God, yes. So if he brought them out, where did he brought them to? And they go, what? I said that, and I wish I had a bigger platform with my brothers in Arab brothers in Israel, and I think if you were to convey that, hey, this land was given to Abraham, and Abraham loved both of his sons, and this land is for all of you, and it's a promised land, anyways, to the sons of Abraham. But your position toward one another needs to be from the heart of the Father, that you two should be reconciled to one another in the love that was provided on the cross of Calvary, a love that was displayed, that did not want to offer Isaac or Ishmael as a sacrifice, but said, I will give my son's life so that your sons Abraham can live. And so for me, that heart, that land is promised to them. And if they knew that they're being deceived by the rabbis or the mullahs, the imams, that says a teaching has been going out that if you're going to take this promised land, the only way is to kill everybody on that side or push them out of this, or this guy said kill these guys or push them out. And that's not the truth. I believe there is a third option, and the third option is the heavenly option, and that's the option where you realize the destiny that God had for you guys and wanted you guys to know one another as brothers and loving one another. But again, all of these things is for the adults, but for the kids, for me, it's hard watching the kids seeing so much disaster. No child anywhere in the world should see so much pain. And I don't know if Western media is doing justice to all the kids that are suffering, all the children. That's only my part, that's the children. I remember when I went to northern Syria with my wife, and maybe one day I'll show you guys some pictures. finding some 300 kids in the middle of the desert. Nobody. Middle of the desert, no food. We brought them some food. They just gathered around us, they hugged us. The kids, that's my heart. So yesterday I was just crying and praying for the kids. Lord, protect these kids, protect these kids, protect these kids, protect these. Please, Lord, protect these kids, whether Jews or Gentiles, protect the children, so that these children, their hearts are not set on hatred and anger, and they are not traumatized by so many pictures that they have witnessed of the people that are dead, that have just seen death and disaster. I pray that their heart will be protected, that they would see life and hope and joy. And this was my prayer. And in the middle of these things, I said, Lord, about the soldiers, and I wanted to protect for the soldiers and everything, because I heard yesterday my friend from Israel said, pray for the northern side of the Israel, because the Iron Dome is having an issue and everything else. It's not working properly. So I'm praying for the protection of this side. I'm praying for the protection of that side. And many of you are wondering, how can I pray for both protection? I should choose a side. Yes, I have a side, and that side is God's side. So, having God's side gives me the freedom to cry and pray for Israel and the Arabs, for the Jews and the Arabs. That's what I enjoy. I enjoy a freedom in that. And so, anyways, we're trying to see what we can do for all the kids. And then I saw suddenly a vision, and I saw a man that represented it in the Jews, the Israel. And I saw another man that represented all the Arab Muslim, the Muslim minds, the Islamic fighting mentality, the soldiers that are fighting the Jews. That was represented, and it wasn't only the Shias or the Sunnis or the Lebanese or the Palestinians. It was actually one man that represented that, all the people that wanted to fight Israel. And so I saw them standing, and both of their eyes was completely bloodshot. And when I could see in their eyes, I could see revenge, and they were saying, their eyes looking at each other, saying blood for blood, life for life. And they were like just both of them saying that. And Israel was saying to these guys that I will kill every single one of you, and I will cause you to fear me. And the other one would say, you can never cause us enough fear that we will be destroyed. We will never be gone. We will be here, and we will not let you have peace. We will not go out of our land. This is our land. You have taken too much. And they were just arguing amongst themselves. And I was thinking, okay, Lord, what can I do? How can I pray? And as I was saying, and I was thinking, okay, at least the Jews have an anointing or a promise. And so maybe this is the righteous anger or the righteous justice or something. This was the position of my heart, I gotta say. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, no, Afshin, let me open your eyes to see that none of them carry my spirit. And I was like, what? I was shocked. And the Lord just kind of just made me just pushed like a curtain wise or something. He was speaking. And when he said that, then I saw Satan going, whispering in the ears of the Muslims, something, hey, they want to take your land, da, da, da. Everything they were saying was being whispered by Satan to them. And it just made them more angry, and they felt like this is the voice of God, Allah, and we need to fight for Allah. And then the same spirit went to them and said, hey, this is what's going on, this is your promised land, da 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 da, and everything. And they were saying, oh, this is God's heart, and this is our right. And they were saying this to them. And I was like, oh, it's the same spirit. And the Lord said, yes, that's the spirit of hatred and war, brother against brother. Because Jesus said, love your brother. This is the same spirit against both of them. So I just was like, oh, wow, what is happening? What do you want, Lord? And I felt the Lord saying, my heart is absolutely to love one another. And they have not been listening to my whispers. And I'm like, wow. I could remember in God's voice being God being in the whispers. And I was saying, Lord, what is my position? And he said, and in this, I just felt like I needed to go to Lebanon. And I gotta say to many of you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think we have about, somebody else just offered another 500. So we have about $4,500 so far that has come in. Thank you on the PayPal. I appreciate every one of you that has given. Thank you. Praise God for every one of you. And somebody asked me, what's the goal? I said, look, man, this is the last week. In a few days, I'll be leaving. And you know, I can't say the exact date, so you know why. But I will be leaving in a few days. And my hope is to bring at least 20,000, because they allow us each to carry 10,000 legally. So it would be amazing if we can do that, you know. So thank you everyone that is donating to this mission trip in loving Lebanon, the cedars of Lebanon. Thank you everyone that is sharing the videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But so anyways, my heart was like, because our ministry has been so focused on just doing the practical thing, bringing some food, bringing some clothes, bringing what we can do, you know, to the people. We know it's a drop. It's just in a desert. It doesn't do anything. But I have been asking also for a strategy, and yesterday I felt the Lord is giving a strategy, and the Lord was like, Afshin, I want you to go to different parts of Lebanon, and I want you to whisper my voice. I want you to pray, a prayer of whispering of my voice, that the words of God, the heart of the Father would be revealed to everybody, that there will be a prayer spoken in the lands. And I just felt like it's funny because there are so many also Christians in Lebanon, but these people have not. It's like I'm learning more about Lebanon, and I'm hearing that yeah, there is a section of and Lebanese, and that all the Christians hang out. And then there is the section that all the Shias hang out. That's how it's become the stronghold of the Hezbollah and so on and so forth. But I'm just wondering, what was the position of the Christians in this country? Have they been the light? Have they been the salt to their neighbors? And this is my heart. So my prayer is that we can see these things come to a new chapter. And I am hoping that people will start taking their position. Thank you for you guys praying. And I think that is honestly what it's going to take. We need to pray And we need to fast for this country to experience its destiny and revival, you know. Um, I mean, I've been reading some of the verses in the Old Testament about Lebanon, and I've been reading, especially in the Songs of Solomon, when there is the verses that is calling my spouse my beloved. You know, you 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 took my heart with one look. God says, "Wow." And I am taking those words as words of prophecy spoken by God eternal over the people of Lebanon, the church of Lebanon, to take its place, the bride in Lebanon to take its place. But I believe it takes more than just me, it takes us to come together and speak, prophesy of a Lebanon to see Lebanon take its destiny. I, I have also a plan for Israel's security. And every time I have gone to Israel, I have had this. I, my plan for Israel's security is to create an environment for the Jews to recognize their, their heart seems to have no place. And I'm not talking about every single Jew, not at all. So please don't take me wrong. This is the position of the land more than the position of every single individual. So, because I've traveled in Israel extensively and I've seen so many people, they just, many of them, they just don't care about anything, they just want peace. And many of them actually love the Arabs and everything else, and they want to have some sort of a relationship, and they have no problem with them. And but the position of the country is like that I cannot have a relationship with the Arabs. I can go to a restaurant, eat something, but to become a family, to go to become neighbors that go to each other's home and everything else is not allowed. And so my hope was always in speaking with them. It's like, oh wow, I've I, I brought people and they came, Arabs that came and visited me, and then there were Jews that we sat together and ate, and they were like, oh, that's awesome. And then I'll invite them to come, and I invite them to come, and then we just sat and ate together, and it became normality. And then they went to each other's home. And so my plan for the security of the land of Israel is to create an environment where they do not see each other from the past experience of the others who were hurt, who were brainwashed by politics or whatever else, by the limitations that are set by religiosity, you know. Um, Yesterday, I just wrote a little text to, I wrote a text. Many of you know somebody named Dan, and Dr. Dan, they call him. Anyways, he many years ago went online and started calling me all sorts of things and wanted to have me basically they made websites against me and everything else. Anyway, so I just wrote him a little note and I said, "Hi Dan, it seems it has been a long time since we have had a chance to talk face to face. I just wanted you to know that I have forgiven you and Brenda and everyone else in your group for all the lies and evil, unbiblical things you did against me and my family. I am writing this because I'll be heading out into Lebanon to bring basic helps for the people affected by war. I am not sure if I make it back. So I wanted to tell you myself that I have nothing against you in my heart. I bless you and your family. Keep your eyes on what is important, and that is loving one another. Till we meet again, my dear brother." I wrote him that because I wanted to announce over him from my own mouth before I go that there is nothing that I hold that I speak against him. And his response here, I don't know, oh, you can't see. Anyways, Afshin, you're a sociopath. Get help. I forgive you. Don't die like Ravi Zachariah. It's like, wow. My response to that was like, wow, okay, Dan, I'm not a doctor, you are. I see your choice of words, how you choose, how how close your style of forgiveness is to your Lord and Lord Jesus, and Lord Jesus in the small letters and in capital, my Lord Jesus is very different from yours. Blessings. Unfortunately, religion doesn't have any real value for love, forgiveness, and mercy. I'm sorry for you. And this is the situation right now in Christianity. This is the situation in Christianity. As Christians, the Ravi Zechariah has died, and I believe Ravi would be in heaven not because of what he did or did not do, but because Ravi believed in Jesus Christ. And Ravi's sins are dealt with by God. He will confront him and he will speak to him and he will do whatever. But it's so interesting that Ravi also shared the gospel with so many no other Christians could. But as Christians, we can remember and we will carry his name, speak his name for all the failures. And imagine if we did that with everyone in the Bible. Imagine how we talk about David. Read his Psalms, reap the fruit of his love, a love of a man after God's own heart, but to speak of him as an evil guy that just slept with Bathsheba. That's a little bit crazy for me. But such religiosity holds us back because we want some sort of justice that pleases us. And I don't know what pleases the justice of a religiosity because I have never had it. I was the most religious in my past life, and I never found enough justice to feel satisfied. Justice of religiosity has never a satisfaction in the thirst or the hunger it has. It's a never-ending journey. And so my thoughts are, as Christians, we seem to be carrying things that will not allow us to express our love for one another. And if I cannot love my brothers in Christ, how powerful would be my prayers? So again, so that you don't think I've gone off of the rail here, if we're gonna pray for the soldiers, for all the people that are being whispered to by Satan to kill each other, and they're being told that there is only one way, and that one way is if this group kills the other, or that group kills this one, or pushes the other group out of that place, that area, which is a lie from Satan. If you're going to do that, if you're going to protect the little kids from being, mentally, emotionally, every which way, so traumatized that a next generation is raised that their ears are to the whispers of the same spirit of war and hatred and revenge. If you're going to do that, we need to pray for them. We need to speak and prophesy life over them, the destiny over the Jews, the destiny over Ishmael, the destiny over Lebanon, the destiny over all these guys. But if you're going to pray that prayer, and we have no love for one another, how powerful is our prayer? Maybe Christianity is not so powerful today because we have stopped loving one another and we don't have an idea what it is to love one another. Maybe our Christianity is more about religious or routine structure of when to go to church and when come back home, when to do Bible study and when to do worship and all these kind of things. The reality is, I gotta just because I love mathematics, we got 13,000 or so, just close to 13,500 or whatever it is that we have subscribers. So imagine if every subscriber had paid $1 for the love of Lebanon, we would have had $13,500. If everyone that had watched the video had given $10, you know, then I think there is 1,000 views or something, and that would have been $10,000, you know. So there is the reality is our hearts as Christians seems to see a disaster and we just kind of block it out. We walk away without doing anything. I did a video, do not pass by it. We seem to see the disaster in Christianity, the realm that Christians live, and we just ignore it. And that for me is the root problem, where I see the Lebanese Christian had the mantle, the first responsibility to share the gospel with so many, because that would have been a better solution than the Israeli attack or the world being silent, you know. And people say, oh, maybe if Hezbollah is weakened and then the Lebanese government will be powerful enough to take over and then there will be peace. I tell you, that's not true, because the Western world don't want the Middle Eastern governments to be powerful. They don't want that. That's a political decision. Number two, I got to say that this is so. My wife is trying to give us more quietness, but anyways, yeah. So this is all not true. It's not true that the Lebanese government is a corrupt government, like every other corrupt government around the world, and the people of Lebanon don't have any hope. They don't have any trust in that government. They're just puppets of the West. And you know, those of you that may be saying, hey, you know, we got to see a removal of the Iranian government, and the West wants to change that and everything and set the Iranian people free. I don't believe that. You know, many of the Iranian people that I know are saying, hey, how come Israel did not bomb the Friday prayer? It's all over the social media. Many people are saying, look, on Friday, the Friday prayer, Khamenei, the supreme leader, was there, and there was massive amount of all the heads of the government, you know, every position, and they were like, they did it live. So it would have taken that 10, 15 minutes for Israel to go there and bomb it. And if they would have killed everybody, they would have just, you know, everybody that is anybody that would have been connected to the government that would have died. Anybody that was going to die there is the ones that actually hate Israel. But nobody did anything. And if they would have done that with a country that everybody, according to all the social media and everything, says 80% of the Iranian people, 80% of the Iranian people are against the government. If they would have killed all these people, wouldn't the 80% responded? And don't we remember that the 80% came to the streets and 80% were demonstrating over Mahsa Amini, and no one came to the rescue except some talks? No. Everyone in our countries know we should not trust the Iranian government. We are not going to trust the Western government. There is no one that will rescue us. That's the position of the Middle Eastern people. They say, no government is for us. They don't trust them. And the whispers that happens, all the dealings that happens behind the curtains, we know that's happening, and we're not fools. So the reality is this, my dear brothers and sisters. There is, to me, no political solution to this situation. There are people that are suffering. And that people suffering for us is revealing to us as Christians that we have learned, we have been programmed to walk by disasters and not do anything. And that disaster really is not so much allowed or a will of God so that they will suffer. Maybe part of why it was allowed is to reveal to us the position of our hearts, the position of our walk. I mean, I loved somebody that was on the PayPal, and they had given like $3, and by the time they took the things, it was like $2.59 was put, and I was like, wow. Imagine the heart that said, look, I don't have much money. I don't have much money, but I see a need and I can't just walk by. I want to give that, which I have. I don't have much, but I'll give this. That position is a position of a person that says, I see the disaster, I do not walk by. I see a need for us to make a change around the world. I see that we can make a change for people in need in the war, and I'm not going to just walk by. And I'm saying that Christians around the world have been just so comfortable with their own lifestyle. They have become so much the focus of their own life. They are just looking at me. And that me is not going to be, and I is not going to change the world. It's not going to do the fullness of what God has for us to do. As a community, as an individual, we have learned to just not do anything and pass by. And so there is a shift that needs to happen, and I believe God is revealing to the church how far we are from our destiny, how desensitized we have gotten toward what really matters to the heart of God. And the religiosity, the spirit that whispers in the ears of Dan likes, hey, Rabbi Zechariah, he's a molester. It's ridiculousness. And you got to tell, I know Dan personally. And and it's so funny because I know that when he was telling me about what he struggles with as a regular sin in his life, and I'm thinking, really, Dan? He will go around talk about that Rabbi Zechariah? But religion in Christianity takes the position of where God's Spirit makes us sensitive to loving one another, makes our heart tender, not to just pass by and not do something. And it positions us in a way that we love everyone so much that we cannot think, oh, I cannot do. What can I do? That's I cannot do. No, what can I do to help? And that position can change your neighborhood, your friends, your family, and the people across the world. Now, people in Lebanon. And practicality. I mean, imagine if everyone that had watched the video had shared the video and said, hey man, if they would have had a conversation, they would have gotten on the phone and said to somebody, hey, there's a brother that is going there. And I mean, how many Christians, everyone that I have spoken to, they're like, are you crazy? And but the Cyrus house, my children, my son, my daughter, everybody else, and like, we know that we are sitting here in the comfort, but if it is time, we won't be here. So, but it's interesting. If I was to die in Lebanon, I assure you, every one of my videos, and that is like in 200 views, will be 2 million views then, because the Christians would just send it, oh, this brother. But at that point, I wouldn't be there to distribute food anymore. We idolize the dead, or we demonize the dead, but we are not doing anything now. And that's the sadness of the whole situation. Guys, I gotta get the day started, and I wanted to just share with you today. I got a couple more days here. I gotta go do some. Yesterday I was drilling through to do the drainage for one of the Cyrus house, the bathroom and everything, and today I'll be doing some tiling and everything. So, and many of you that come to this family, I just want to again say, it's really amazing to have a family like you. It's so good to have people that we can just sit down and chat, and that we can share heart in agreement or disagreement, but in an environment that I love you, and I know that you love me, that we can actually, even if our minds or our thoughts are different or in agreement, and we can just share without any fear. So I appreciate every one of you that comes here, watches, supports, and sends financial support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, guys. We're looking forward to going to Lebanon. I would love for you guys to tell me in your personal prayer if there are words of prophecy that you feel for a certain area of Lebanon that you want me to go there. If I can, I would love to go and start prophesying from the north to south, east to west. That's my heart. I want to speak life. And if you feel God has given you a prayer that has to be prophesied there or prayed there in the land, please let me know. Send it to me in emailing us info@afshinjavid.com, so that we can actually take that, and I will stand in the gap for you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you guys. Bless you, and looking forward to spending some time. I'm trying to see if I can get enough internet so I can do lives and updates for you guys from there. Till next time, family.